I wish everybody knew her when she was in her good days, and it didn't take 10 years for her to meet her demise or whatever. In case you all didn't know, she didn't believe in God. And anybody that did believe in God, she's poo-pooed. I wish she would have, and actually Michael Steiner's mother is just
Exactly
like
the
that.
same, an atheist,
And
yes.
I don't think, and she has disdain for anybody that does believe in God, which is really weird, because, you know, you should think what you want to think. For Jim, I appreciate you being here because I've known you forever, and my mother was your Shabbos Goy.
I didn't drink coffee, that was my mother.
Yeah, with the Shabbos Goy, and every Saturday we would go over there. My mother would turn on the stove and make coffee for Martha and cook whatever she wanted. And we just hung out because my father always worked on Saturdays, and he had off on Tuesdays. In fact, Tuesdays in our house was hot dog day, and we could only eat hot dogs on Tuesday. And then when my father had his bypass surgery, she would only let him eat hot dogs once a year. And then Stephen
The year
would
of the
take
hot
him
dog.
to Sam's to eat hot dogs, right? And I don't know if she ever knew it for his birthday because Lawrence wasn't going to let him eat hot dogs.
Oh, that's
Right.
hilarious.
She had lots of idiosyncrasies to this day I don't get.
No.
Not yet. And I know you've all heard this. We were discussing this morning, we could never drink with our meals because if you drank with your meals, that meant you got filled up and you couldn't eat what was in front of you. You could never have bread at your meals for the same reason. What else did she do that was her idiosyncrasy?
It's amazing how many diets.
2 minutes, wasn't there, Marcia?
Yeah,
Oh, you could never have a napkin. The only person that could have, never could have a napkin, the only person that could have a napkin was Bill. I
Wasn't,
don't know why, I guess you were supposed
wasn't
to
there a
eat.
time requirement for brushing your teeth?
You know, I don't know that, but we
2
always
minutes?
had to wipe the walls.
2 minutes?
Maybe
That's right, you
we always
guys
had to
never
wipe the
had
walls.
cavities until some disgustingly old
Well,
age.
no, my mother forgot to take my brother to the dentist for like a million years, and then we went to the
No,
dentist.
because I was
He
in
had,
the dental, in that test. I was in a control,
yeah, right. He
Fluoride.
had like what, 100 cavities?
a lot.
Yeah.
Lot.
And we
Dr.
went to-
Burke had Parkinson's.
Yeah, and so Jim knew, the New family and the Salson family went to a guy with Parkinson's and he wheeled around on a chair with wheels and he'd come to you with his hands shaking and looking in your mouth and no one could understand why we didn't like going to the dentist.
No, yeah, you say no anesthetic, right?
No anesthetic, fill a tooth, nothing, then he'd
My
be
mother
fill
tried
it to
to
your
kill
gum.
her. They kept
Oh
it
well,
5 times a
you
year.
remember those?
His
They never
assistant
told
Igor,
her
oh
that I
yeah.
And I remember him telling one of us, what was wrong with you? You were an idiot. You didn't brush your teeth well. He told your brother Stephen that.
Oh,
that
that's
he
right.
did-
We had, you guys were so
I don't even
perfect.
have
That
it
was
on
the one
this
thing
thing.
that always got me. You guys never had cavities. In our mouth, we were like the dissolute, layabouts, eating sugar all day long, always filled with cavities. And you come back and never had any. It was like, aren't we special, So, it was so disgusting. So I was so happy when you got your first
I'm
cavity.
so good. Oh yeah, and when I was a teenager, she, well, first of all, we were talking about going to stupid dance class.
Yeah, junior summer.
Remember Granger, Mrs. Granger?
Yeah, I think it was Granger, yeah.
Mrs. Granger kicked Stephen out, but we don't remember why, right? Did Mrs. Granger make you sit out?
Maybe. I couldn't stand the thing.
Yeah, I know. Mrs. Granger was trying. But anyway, so
Jerry.
my biggest beef with my mother then was everybody wore
Take this
nylons.
off
We
of
were in the
that.
6th grade, and my mother refused to let me wear nylons. So everybody had nylons on and little cute shoes, and I had little flat Mary Jane shoes with socks. It's like, hello,
stupid to have
here
it
I
on
am,
this.
this nerd, and that always really made me angry. And I don't know when she ever gave in to that because I
Try to do
just
it
don't
without.
remember. You don't remember any of that, huh?
Not when you started wearing nylons, but I did that.
Hold the tripod. I'm gonna take it off.
That's very interesting knowledge.
Go figure. Go figure.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't
Okay.
know when folks made that, parents made that.
So we always had to take dance lessons. You did too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we all had to.
absolutely.
And Stephen, we did, and we had to
And
take it because
Stephen
someday in
and
our
brother.
life we would have to do ballroom dancing.
But we
Except
learned the jitterbug and other things.
Oh yeah, we did. That's right. And you've used
And
it how
finally-
much in your life? Hey
11,
Steve,
12.
how often have you jitterbugged in your life?
Never. I've never danced since.
But if I remember the last one, because that was like a special night, and because the twist was popular, she let us get away with
Having the twist?
Some
Was this
popular
Mrs.
dancing.
Granger or was this at,
Well, you know, I can't remember.
I don't think
What's-
Mrs. Granger would have gone that far.
That was the one around the street from your house,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
It might have been anyway, and because that was like the first dance when you didn't have to
Hold
hold
somebody's hand.
hands, you know, or touch your partner at all. Even
Yeah.
so, that's why, yeah, it was so frowned upon, I guess. But that was a special thing.
Doing the twist, huh?
Don't you remember that? Or
Yeah, I do.
that was like a
Steve and
last
I,
night
we were all together.
special
Why couldn't we
thing,
remember all
a
this stuff?
concession to.
Mrs. Granger was a professional dancer who held dance lessons for kids, but she was like
In her
a
basement.
tyrant in her basement. And my own life, she was like a crazy lady. And if you weren't following your partner right, she'd grab you and she'd make you dance with her. Back straight, arms out. And we had to keep going. I don't know how many damn years we went. We went for a lot of years, and I don't think any of us know how to dance. Do you know how to dance?
I haven't had to, but yeah, you know, foxtrot or
Yeah.
a waltzy thing. You
No,
know,
the deal
but-
was someday we were going to have to learn to dance, and then the person we married would want to dance. And so and that happened. And she had a lot of sayings, like she would always, you know, their house was really little, and she would always yell, or my father would yell, "Florence, where are you?" And like the house is like this big. Like, where the heck are you? In the kitchen. In the kitchen, you know, wherever.
From
And
reading
she,
his paper, yeah.
What?
From reading his paper.
Right, reading
Getting
the
up
paper.
reading his paper.
Right, right. And she would, I would tell her things and she would say, what difference does it make? Or who needs it? Or what else?
That's the way it
That's
is.
the way it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
She still used to say that.
It is what it is.
No
I
nothing.
Do, no nothing. No nothing.
Do you mind?
Do you mind? No nothing.
It ain't
no
no
nothing. It ain't no nothing. It ain't no nothing. Okay?
Bill.
It ain't no nothing, Bill. Yeah. She never, and we were talking about this before, that our generation, and I don't know about, we were talking about this last night, our generation, my parents' generation, the Depression generation, never told their children ever that they loved them. Ever. I think we assumed that they loved us because they sure the heck never told us. Ever. Do your mother say that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, never said that.
Without regard to whether anybody else was present or not, so it can be a little embarrassing. But
Yeah,
never,
same thing with my
Your
mother.
mother always said that, but
Yeah.
my mother never,
didn't.
never in a million years, or my father, never. How about you, Paul?
Well, my father definitely.
Never. That whole generation.
Now they do.
Now
You
they
know, My mom does now, but it's because
It's an
girls
Italian culture.
call them and say I love you every, so maybe about 20 years ago or something she started or something.
well, we
And I
certainly didn't
think-
do it. Yeah.
But I,
You want to take
but
this
I
over
think
until you're ready to
for
speak?
us,
Yeah, I'll
German
take it
culture.
over.
Never did.
German,
Yeah,
never.
Don't just keep on.
And I think, I think we were determined when you had
Conversation's
children, we'd tell
It's
them.
not words.
Excuse me, let me duck.
I just think
The
that
whole
was
thing
something
is
they just
read
never
my
did.
actions, not my
Just
words.
accepted.
But still, Italians are pretty
Demonstrative.
monsters.
She was an excellent cook, an excellent baker. She got much nicer and friendlier when she got older. She probably lived 10 years longer than she probably could have if it wasn't for Judy and Steve. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah, me too.
And Jim had told the story before that he always got really mad at my mother because and I do the same thing. So as soon as you said that, he said that whenever my mom would give him something, he would say,
No,
"Thank you."
not your mom. My mom.
No, she would say, "Thank you."
My mother would give me something, and I would just take it and go. And then your mother
I would
would
say,
say
Say
thank you.
thank you.
And I just thought, who are you to tell me and my mom that I had to thank my mom?
But you say thank you, right? That's right. That's right.
And of course, the other thing was, but you do it too, is to say Martha rather than Martha. So
Oh
that's
yeah, because they're from Maine. Her name's Martha, but
my
I always
God.
say Martha.
Yeah,
You know, I did not know her name was Martha until like.
I didn't either.
I thought it was
Her name's
Martha until like a year.
No, I can hear that. Exactly.
And then I saw them written. Yeah, that's right. It's that Maine accent. Well,
No,
I mean, why would you
it'll
change?
never leave my head.
You never leave your head.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The way she
I always
said
thought her name was
great.
Martha. I thought it was Martha too. M-A-T-H-A.
I always called her Mom.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what can I say? Okay, guys.
Can I make a?
Yeah, you can say all you want. I'm done.
Yes, I'm just thinking about this.
I'd like to salute Florence for her many lessons in thrift. I will include among those saving the wax paper out of the Cheerio box
Oh wow,
for
that is
reuse,
I hadn't heard.
washing the saran wrap, drying it for reuse,
I know who you're
making your own Windex,
That's right.
and many, many more that I can't think of.
Plastic bag.
Ziploc bags.
Plastic bags, some bread bags,
Bread
some bread
bags.
bags, newspapers. That's right. That's right. She was the first of the
Why did they
college.
make
She
that
was an
noise?
original green person.
Oh, it wasn't
Give
mine.
back-
Never mind.
Right. And the first of the
Give back
healthy
to the
cooking
newspaper
person.
carrier or not?
She wasn't ever telling with food.
Huh?
She made hummus and all that stuff.
She made
Way before it was
and
cool.
grilled
Yeah.
bean sprouts. That was thanks to Judy. Judy
Oh,
grilled
okay.
bean sprouts and hummus. Yeah. The first of the good,
That's a
Friends
dressing
became cool.
baby.
yeah.
Really good.
Anybody else?
I learned the yogurt making from her.
Okay. Before I, anyone else want to say something? Judy?
Go and do your shtick.
Before I go do my shtick, Judy?
You want me to do
I would say.
Go ahead,
Well, no, I
absolutely.
was just gonna say my memories of
Oh,
memories
hold
of
on.
Grammy include, let's see, towel drying my hair. Painfully, because I wasn't allowed to have wet hair because it might make me sick. So she would just put her knuckles into my hair and towel dry them. What else? Oh, cranberries. Turning the cranberries. It was very serious. We made cranberry relish at Thanksgiving. It was very, very serious event.
Every Thanksgiving.
Every Thanksgiving. That, oh, and like, she'd always go to the grocery store and buy the bread that was like clearance because it was old. And we had freezer fulls of remember bread we had?
We
in
had
the
freezer fulls of bread, lots of bread,
We had a lot of bread.
and
in the freezer.
bagels. Wait, and bagels cut that big.
Were slices. She would slice
It's a 3.
I was gonna say
Bagels, really thin bagel crisp, towel drying hair, and a lot
Well,
of bread.
Yeah, bagel crisp. Made bagel crisp.
well, I'm doing myself here. Go ahead, Jerry. The bagel. I give some credit on the bagels. The tri-sliced bagels was actually we'll give credit to Dorothy and Jack Clyde were the ones that started doing that, and then Florence caught on to it. Yep. That's the way it is. It's got to be done that way. Yep. That was that.
And it kind of continued with your mother.
Yeah, it continued with my mother just pulling the stuffing out of the bread and then eating it anyway. Let me go back further. Just a few things that that I remember when we were in Taylor Pond and when the families would be together, and the typical scene was. And it was pretty much what you saw in the home movies that you guys have, which was Bill sitting in a chair reading the paper, every now and then looking up and smiling, and he wanted to know where Florence was because he needed to get the next section of the paper. Words, and now my father, did absolutely the best impression of Bill Saltzman, had it down pat. And I'm just going to switch a little bit of the emphasis on this to Bill up in heaven, and all these people walking up to him. And instead of him saying a word, do you know that I was Jewish and that I played with the University of Indiana in 1960? Oh, that everything, every single thing, no matter what conversation you have, he'd somehow tie in. The person was either Jewish, went to IU, or Notre Dame. Went to Notre Dame, or a combination of all of those.
Right.
So that was
Or the University of Maine.
Yeah.
They're always Jewish. This person's Jewish.
yeah,
That person's Jewish.
right.
This person's
Absolutely. And I mean, we do. I mean, the things. And I would also like to just say for the record. Watching from afar, and despite my parents, particularly my mother and my father, who would make their little comments and that weren't very pleasant, and second guessing, you know, the way that that Florence was being treated or not treated. I'd like to say that absolutely, you know, I was ashamed for them, which is something that their other sister Dorothy used to say a lot. But I was ashamed for them because I know damn well, because now that I'm dealing with my mother, you know, and some of the things that I'm doing and how difficult it is. And Marcia, you have it right on 10 years, at, you know, if not more, for what the two of them did, and the sacrifice that they did, and the time that not the money, but the time that they put in to keeping her going. And I know Judy, she became like your, you know, like your mother, you know, and you know, that was, and one of the first things that I said when I heard about it was I sent you a message, and I said just that. I know how this is, you know, how this must be hitting you, because it was just, you know, incredible, you know, what you guys did, and you know, it's applause for that, definitely, applause for that, and that well deserved. And I think that you know, she was an incredible person. I can tell stories of my own. I came in, I was on my way to, I lived in Massachusetts at the time, on my way to see my brother Nolan with us in Chicago, in Evanston, and I would stop at their house, South McGregor and South Bend, and I'd get up the next morning, have coffee. And what I think people can count in the number of years that they've known her, decades that they've known her, how many times that she has had coffee in her life on one hand. But, okay, I had coffee, and I wanted it with cream and sweetener. That's not the way to have coffee. You gotta have coffee black with nothing in it. You know, and I mean, and with exactly that tone of voice. I said, okay.
If you want to have it, you can have it.
Yeah, but it's up to you. I mean, I wouldn't drink it, but if you want to, go right ahead. Exactly. Throw that one in, and that's the way it is. I mean,
That's the way it is.
I mean, that was, you know, like my mother would say it all the time, you know, and my father would say it all the time, and the kind of the ironic thing that I heard about her was that in her last days, that she would, every now and then she would just get up and out of nowhere and say that's not the way it is. And you know, and it's kind of funny, but it's kind of ironic, and something was going on that connected, that clicked, and she knew. You know, that was her one, that was her...
It's not right.
Something's not right.
Something's not right, and she knew. And it wasn't.
Something's not right.
Yeah, and that, you know, pretty much, that's all I have to say. So we could just pass it on. You want to hand that to me?
Take it back.
And now, Judy, you want to say something? Or who else? Stephen? Stephen's not saying it? Anyone else? Okay, go ahead. Let me get this. Okay, go ahead.
I guess Rachel covered a lot of the memories, but I will say that Grammy was very good at taking care of people. And she took care. I used to think I would kill Grandpa if I was married to him because he never got off that chair. He'd come to our house, and she waited on him hand and foot. And it's incredible, the love that they had. I don't mean that in an ugly way. Y'all know
Absolutely.
She waited on him hand and foot.
Yeah, she did everything.
And every
for him.
morning, I'd get ready for school, I'd come down to breakfast. And it wasn't just have a bowl of cereal. She had a spread for Grandpa. And this is for Grandpa. It was peanut butter and plates of toast, I remember, and compote.
Yeah.
And the table was
And
like
grape nuts.
full, and grape nuts. It was like full.
Oh yeah, grape nuts.
Like,
She was one for grape
I
nuts.
guess he wanted to have, any of us. Dad used to say, I think she was making it fat. I remember that. Because every morning you'd sit down and have this lobster breakfast. But anyway.
And you'd come home for lunch, and he'd walk in the door, and there's like steam would be coming off the stove.
Yeah. I come home for lunch, and the kitchen would just be, it would look like Thanksgiving or something was being prepared in there. Pots and pans all over the stove, all over the table. You know, and I wanted a sandwich. Get out of here and get back to work. That's the way she was.
Jim.
Your folks used to eat whole wheat Roman meal bread occasionally, right?
Yeah, years ago, if they weren't eating rye, you're right.
No, because I
totally
remember that
forgot
was
that.
like, what planet did these people come from?
on, you know, that how rum and meal was even in business. Nobody knew had it. Your mom was aware of it every time now because I switched over for the most part to whole wheat, and I think about it as like, oh my God, I'm turning into Florence. You know? It's such a departure from.
Guys, you have something to say? Yeah, they
And I remember you also had the big Charlie Chips cans.
I only remember the most recent breeds. But
I
I just remember Grandma being
And you would
very.
have this big
When my children were young, she was always like,
the livery guy.
she was very into the children, which always interests me because of what I'd heard about other things, and so she really liked my kids, and so she was nice, and I was like, yeah, look, and I'd give her the chocolate. I was always pushing the kids onto her.
Well,
She didn't hold it, but she was always like, oh, she's up. She's
Yeah, she was
crying,
always
she's crying.
worried about that. Like something's wrong, or they're crying, or they need something, or.
well, I
Yeah,
think
I mean, I remember
she
her
was
being
concerned.
attentive to them.
that kind of falls under the category of grandparents' revenge. Big time, big time. You know, wait until you have one of you. That's literally what, you know. I mean, Italian, Jewish. I mean, everybody. You know, everybody's parents say that. You know.
That's the most recent thing
Yeah.
that I remember.
Okay.
I have one other thing that I would like to say, because if anybody knows this, I would actually like to have this. It was something that Grammy and I think Dorothy used to do, and I remember it was a thing on my
I have
hand.
it written down.
You have it written down?
And it started with
I remember that. Looking at it.
Sharaka.
I have
I forgot it.
Sharona.
I would like
Yeah,
to do
that was a Rose
Yeah,
Barron
I have
thing.
it written down.
Yeah.
and then it ended up the run of your arm tickle. Yeah, I just think that was
Right.
I forgot about that.
Yes.
I have that at home.
That was Rose. That was my that was our grandmother, Rose Barron, your great grandmother.
Something you go Kakula, yeah.
Tamudala, right? Yeah.
Well, our grandmother.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
have that. Dorothy wrote that down for me, so I do have it at home.
I would like
What
that.
is it, Mark?
What does it mean?
It's something in Russian in which a kid's nursery rhyme that you go around and around and around, and then you go like this.
Like
It was a
that
nursery
Rose
rhyme.
used to do that.
And Dorothy, yeah, right. Rose used to do that.
But
and
she said this little piggy went to market. This
no, but
This
she
is
always wanted
definitely
to come,
in Yiddish
and
and
it's in
Hebrew.
Russian.
She never did
It's
it
in
in
Russian.
Yeah.
Or it's in Yiddish.
It was in Russian.
And it's in Russian.
It was in Russian.
And I have that, yeah, Rose did. And I have it, Dorothy, I said to Dorothy, please write that down
How
because
come
I
she did
won't
it in
remember.
English?
And I have it I have it in Fayetteville. Yeah, I have that down. Yeah,
No, I
and
only
Rose
remember
used
the
to do
most
that.
recent things.
That's all I got.
2 years. After 2 years.
Well, I think my grandmother did it more than my mother. Didn't you think Rose did that? More than
Absolutely. My mother never did that.
Dorothy did.
Maybe it was a Dorothy thing.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Maybe it was Dorothy.
It would have been, well, you could never, well, I could certainly never see Helen Steiner doing anything like that. No. Or Florence, for that matter.
Well, I think my grandmother Rose did, don't you think, Steve?
She's definitely.
Don't you think Rose did it?
All
I
I
think
remember
Rose
is
did
this
it.
little piggy.
No. No, I have it written down.
Yeah, it's Sharaka.
So, yeah, I have it written down. Dorothy wrote it.
Yes.
Yeah, I do have it written down. Because that's something I remember as a kid. I'm sorry.
No problem. So,
Anybody else? Anybody else?
I think it's
Judy.
okay, well, I want to thank everyone for coming today. This would have been the 94th birthday for Florence, so it's really special that everyone made the long trip in her honor, and she would have been very, very pleased. So, Bill and Florence moved here 10 years ago, and it was at this time I really got to know her. She was fun and cute and helpful, eager to do things, pleasant, respectful. It made me realize how many of her beautiful years I had missed. My friends also loved her. I would take her everywhere with me. My hospital meetings, the garden club, the antique mall, shopping center, grocery store. She liked shopping. She was always ready to go, always became the center of attention, even though she didn't know that. She had this style and this quirky Maine accent and cute demeanor and looked good, always looked good, cute. She was always polite and kind. I was with her when she took her last breath, and I held her tight. It was easy for her to pass, just as it was easy for her to live. She was remarkable and a class act. We will miss her.
And again, thank you, Judy. It's appreciated. I would be clapping too if I weren't holding on to the camcorder.
So we should fill our glasses and
Yeah,
say
may her memory be a
L'chaim.
blessing.
Okay,
Yes.
if I had one. If I had one. L'chaim
L'chaim.
I love a thing.
There you go.
to Florence.
To Florence.
I'll raise my.
Your glasses.
Oh, it's my glass. Oh, it's my glass.
Rest here. Jim probably knows a Hebrew prayer.
Glasses to glass.
And to be honest with you, I guess the thing that probably would be said is Kaddish, but other than that,
That's
I'm not
thinking on my feet, Lee.
I guess he needed it.
He needed it, exactly.
Amen. I think that says it all. Thank you.